The forest that swallowed people. A true horror story. Before you watch this story, I want you to promise me one thing. If you ever find yourself driving alone at night, and you see a narrow dirt road leading into a forest, don't go inside. Because some forests don't just hide secrets. They hide people. And once they take you, no one ever sees you again. This happened in the fall of 2024, just outside the small town of Black Pine, Oregon. Officially, the forest is called Ravenwood National Forest. But locals never use that name. They simply call it the forest that swallowed people. Over the last 50 years, more than 40 hikers, campers, and hunters disappeared there. No bodies. No footprints. No phone calls. Nothing. The police blamed wild animals. Some people blamed serial killers. The locals knew the truth. The forest didn't kill people. It kept them. I never believed those stories. Until my best friend, Daniel Carter, disappeared. 3 days later, his backpack was found hanging from a tree. His phone was still recording. The final video lasted only 27 seconds. Daniel was running through the trees, breathing so hard he could barely speak. He pointed the camera behind him. There was nothing there. Then he whispered, "It's copying my footsteps." A second later, another set of footsteps echoed behind him, perfectly matching his own. But no one was visible. Daniel screamed. The phone hit the ground. The camera kept recording. Slowly, a pair of bare feet walked into the frame. Then the recording ended. Daniel was never seen again. What I'm about to tell you is everything that happened after I entered that forest to find him. And I still wish I had never gone inside. Part 1. The forest that swallowed people. The last recording. Before this story begins, I need you to do something. If you're alone right now, look around your room. Check the windows. Check the door. Now listen carefully. Have you ever walked through a forest and suddenly realized the birds had stopped singing? If that ever happens, leave immediately. Because according to an old legend from the Pacific Northwest, when the forest becomes completely silent, it means something has noticed you. My name is Ryan Carter. Everything I'm about to tell you is real. You don't have to believe me. But if you ever find yourself driving through the mountains of Oregon, and you see a weathered wooden sign that reads, Ravenwood National Forest, keep driving. Don't stop. Don't look back. And whatever you do, don't step beyond the tree line. Because that's exactly what my best friend, Daniel Brooks, did. And 3 days later, he vanished without a trace. Daniel wasn't the kind of person who scared easily. He was a wildlife photographer who had spent years exploring abandoned mines, frozen mountains, and forests where bears outnumbered people. He laughed at ghost stories. He called urban legends cheap entertainment. When I warned him about Ravenwood, he smiled. "Ryan," he said, "it's just another forest." Those were the last normal words I ever heard him say. 3 days later, the police called me. They had found Daniel's truck abandoned near an old hiking trail. The keys were still in the ignition. His wallet sat on the driver's seat. His backpack hung from a pine tree nearly 2 miles away. But Daniel was gone. The search team spent 5 days combing the forest. Drones. Dogs. Helicopters. Nothing. Then they found his phone. The battery was almost dead. There was only one video left. It lasted 27 seconds. The detective looked at me before pressing play. "You should prepare yourself." The screen shook violently. Daniel was running. Branches slapped against the camera. His breathing sounded desperate. He kept looking over his shoulder. But there was nothing behind him. Only darkness. Then he whispered, "No. It's still following me." His footsteps suddenly stopped. So did the camera. For 3 long seconds. There was complete silence. Then another pair of footsteps echoed through the forest. Slow. Heavy. Perfectly matching his own. Step. 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 Except Daniel wasn't moving anymore. His terrified face filled the screen. "It's copying me," he whispered. Then something impossible happened. A voice, his own voice, spoke from somewhere deep between the trees. "Ryan. I found him. Come here." Daniel froze. His lips trembled. That's me." The flashlight swung toward the darkness. For a split second, the camera caught a tall human-shaped figure standing between 2 trees. It looked exactly like Daniel. Same clothes. Same backpack. Same face. But its smile was impossibly wide. The screen suddenly went black. The final sound on the recording wasn't a scream. It was laughter. Daniel's laughter. The detective slowly locked the phone. No body. No blood. No evidence. "It's like your friend simply stopped existing." Everyone else accepted that explanation. I couldn't. Because something about that recording didn't make sense. If Daniel was holding the camera, who, or what, was standing in the trees wearing his face? I spent the next week researching Ravenwood. The deeper I searched, the stranger the stories became. 42 missing people. Not one body recovered. Campers reported hearing family members calling their names. Hunters claimed they saw people who disappeared years earlier, walking silently between the trees. Every witness told the same story. The forest never chased them. It waited. And once it learned your voice, it never forgot it. I should have walked away. Instead, I packed my backpack, grabbed my camera, and drove toward Ravenwood. Because if there was even the smallest chance Daniel was still alive, I was going to bring him home. I had no idea. The forest was already waiting for me. The forest that swallowed people. The silent forest. I arrived at Ravenwood just before sunset. The last gas station was almost 20 miles behind me. The old woman working there had watched me load my backpack into the truck. When I told her where I was going, the smile disappeared from her face. "You'll hear voices," she whispered. "They'll sound like someone you love." She leaned closer. "No matter what they say, don't answer." Before I could ask another question, she walked inside and locked the door. At the entrance to Ravenwood stood a faded wooden sign. "Warning, enter at your own risk." Someone had carved another message underneath with a hunting knife. "It knows your name." I laughed nervously and started recording with my camera. "Day 1, I said. I'm Ryan Carter. I'm entering Ravenwood National Forest to find my missing friend, Daniel Brooks." The trail looked ordinary. Towering pine trees. Fresh air. Birds singing overhead. For the first 20 minutes, nothing felt unusual. Then, every bird stopped singing. At once. The silence was so complete that I could hear my own heartbeat. The air became strangely cold. Not the cold of winter, but the feeling of standing inside a freezer. My compass began spinning in circles. GPS signal. Gone. Phone service. Gone. I remembered the old woman's warning. "Keep walking. Don't answer." About an hour later, I found something hanging from a tree. It was a red hiking scarf. Daniel always wore that scarf. I ran toward it. As soon as I grabbed it, I noticed something that made my stomach tighten. The scarf wasn't old. It was warm, as if someone had been holding it only moments before. Then, I heard footsteps behind me. Crunch. 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 I spun around. Nothing. Only endless rows of trees. The footsteps stopped. I started walking again. Crunch. 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 They started again, exactly matching my pace. Every step I took, something behind me took one too. I stopped. The footsteps stopped. I whispered, "Who's there?" No answer. The forest remained silent. I kept moving, refusing to look back. The sound followed me for nearly 10 minutes. Then it suddenly vanished. Relieved, I checked my watch. 5:42 p.m. I had been hiking for almost 2 hours. But the sunlight hadn't changed. The sun was still hanging in exactly the same place. It wasn't setting. Time had stopped. My camera battery, which had been fully charged that morning, suddenly dropped from 92% to 18%. The screen flickered. For a single frame, I saw someone standing behind me. I turned instantly. Nothing. When I replayed the footage, that frame was gone. As darkness finally began creeping between the trees, I found an abandoned ranger cabin. Its windows were broken. The front door hung open. Inside, dust covered everything, except one chair. It looked as though someone had been sitting there only minutes earlier. On the wooden table lay an old journal. Most of the pages were damaged by moisture, but one sentence was still readable. "If you hear yourself speaking outside, do not go outside." A chill ran through my body. Before I could read another page, I heard a voice outside. Soft. Calm. Familiar. "Ryan." It was Daniel. "I'm over here." My heart started pounding. "Daniel!" I shouted. No answer. Then his voice came again. Closer this time. "I'm hurt. I can't walk." Every instinct told me to run outside. But I remembered the warning. Don't answer. Don't follow the voices. The silence returned. Then, 3 slow knocks echoed against the cabin door. Knock. 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 The handle began to turn. Very slowly. Someone, or something, was trying to come inside. The forest that swallowed people. The man outside the cabin. The doorknob turned slowly. Once. Twice. Then it stopped. Every muscle in my body locked in place. I could hear my own breathing. Nothing else. A calm voice came from the other side. "Ryan, it's me. Daniel." It sounded exactly like him. Not almost. Not close. Exactly. I twisted my ankle, the voice said. "Please, open the door." My hand reached for the handle before I even realized it. Then I remembered the journal. "If you hear yourself speaking outside, do not go outside." I stepped away from the door. "No," I whispered. "If you're really Daniel, tell me something only we would know." Silence. For nearly 30 seconds. Nothing happened. Then, the voice answered. "The day we met in college, you spilled coffee all over my camera bag." My heart nearly stopped. That memory was real. Nobody else knew it. Nobody. The voice continued. "You promised you'd always come back for me." Tears filled my eyes. For one terrifying moment, I believed him. Then something felt wrong. Daniel never called me Ryan. For 15 years. He had always called me Carter. Always. The thing outside knew my memories. But it didn't understand our friendship. I backed away from the door. "You aren't Daniel." The cabin became completely silent. Then, a deep scratching sound dragged across the wood. Slowly. Patiently. Like sharp fingernails carving through the door. Screech. Screech. The scratching moved from the top of the door all the way to the bottom. Then it stopped. A second later, someone laughed. Not Daniel. Not human. The laugh echoed through the forest like dozens of voices speaking together. Suddenly, the cabin windows exploded inward. Glass scattered across the floor. A freezing wind rushed inside. My flashlight flickered wildly. In that brief flashing light, I saw it. Standing 20 feet away between the trees. It looked like Daniel. Same face. Same clothes. Same backpack. But its arms were far too long. Its fingers almost touched the ground. Its smile stretched impossibly wide. And its eyes were completely black. It didn't blink. It simply stood there, watching me. Then, another figure appeared beside it. An old woman. Then a little girl. Then a hunter carrying a rifle. One by one, human shapes stepped out from the darkness. None of them moved. None of them spoke. They only stared. I counted 7. Then 10. Then 15. Every face looked different. But every smile was exactly the same. My flashlight died. Darkness swallowed the cabin. Outside, I heard dozens of footsteps circling the building. Crunch. 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 They weren't trying to come inside. They were waiting. I remembered the emergency flashlight in my backpack. My shaking hand searched through the bag. Finally, I found it. The beam lit the room again. The windows were empty. Every figure had vanished. Relieved, I exhaled. Then I noticed muddy footprints. They didn't lead into the cabin. They led out of it, as if someone had already been standing behind me. A cold breath touched the back of my neck. Very softly, a voice whispered into my ear, "Don't turn around." I froze. Because the voice was my own. The forest that swallowed people. The village that shouldn't exist. "Don't turn around." The whisper crawled into my ear like ice. It was my voice. Every word. Every breath. Every pause. Exactly the way I spoke. My body refused to move. I could feel something standing only inches behind me. Breathing. Waiting. Smiling. Then, I remembered something my grandfather once told me. Fear wants you to look. So don't. I squeezed my eyes shut. Counted to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The cold breath disappeared. I spun around. Nothing. The cabin was empty. The muddy footprints on the floor were gone. Only silence remained. I didn't wait another second. Grabbing my backpack, I rushed out of the cabin. The forest was darker than before. The moon should have been overhead. Instead, the sky was completely black. No stars. No moon. It was as if something had swallowed the entire sky. I turned on my flashlight and started running. After nearly 20 minutes, I stopped. The trees suddenly ended. In front of me stood a village. Old wooden houses. A church. A water well. Flickering lanterns. It looked abandoned. Yet smoke drifted from several chimneys. Someone lived here. Or something did. A rusted wooden sign welcomed visitors. Welcome to Ash Hollow. I searched every map before coming here. No village by that name existed. Still, there it was. Perfectly real. As I stepped onto the empty street, every house seemed to be watching me. The doors were open. The windows were dark. Not a single sound echoed through the village. Then, a church bell rang. 1, 2, 3. Exactly 3 times. The church door slowly creaked open by itself. Against my better judgment, I walked inside. Dust floated through the cold air. Broken wooden benches lined the room. At the altar stood an old priest. His back faced me. He didn't move. "Excuse me," I called. No response. I stepped closer. The priest slowly turned around. His eyes widened. "You shouldn't be here," he whispered. Before I could speak, he grabbed my arm. "They're coming." "Who?" "The ones wearing our faces." A loud scream echoed outside. The priest looked toward the window. "They found you." Suddenly, every church window shattered. Glass exploded across the room. Outside, dozens of people stood silently in the village square. Every single one had Ryan Carter's face. My face. Different clothes. Different ages. Some were smiling. Some were crying. One looked elderly. One looked like a child. But they were all me. The priest's hands trembled. "It creates copies. It keeps the originals." I stared at him. "What do you mean, keeps them?" He pointed beneath the church. "There is no forest. There is only it." Before he could finish, a massive roar shook the entire village. The ground cracked beneath our feet. The church walls began to shake. The priest's face turned pale. "It knows you know." The floor suddenly split open. Darkness waited below. And from that endless black pit, thousands of voices whispered together. "Ryan, come home." The forest that swallowed people. The heart of the forest. The floor beneath the church collapsed. I grabbed the edge of a broken wooden beam just before falling into the darkness. Below me, there was no ground. Only an endless black pit. And inside that darkness, thousands of pale eyes slowly opened. Watching me. Waiting. The old priest grabbed my wrist with surprising strength and pulled me back onto the floor. "Run!" he shouted. The entire church groaned as if it were alive. Wood splintered. Walls twisted. The stained glass windows melted into black vines that crawled across the ceiling. We burst through the front doors and sprinted into the empty village. Except, it wasn't empty anymore. Every street was filled with people. Or at least, they looked like people. Some wore old-fashioned clothes from the 1800s. Others looked like modern hikers. Children. Hunters. Police officers. Campers. All standing perfectly still. All smiling. Then, every one of them spoke at the same time. "Welcome home, Ryan." Their voices echoed through the village like thunder. The priest grabbed my shoulder. "Don't let them surround you." We ran between the silent figures. None of them chased us. Instead, they slowly turned their heads, following every step we took. As if they already knew where I was going. At the edge of the village, the priest stopped beside an enormous oak tree. Its trunk was wider than a house. Its roots disappeared deep into the earth. "This," he whispered, "is the heart of the forest. The bark suddenly pulsed. Like flesh. A deep heartbeat echoed beneath my feet. Boom. 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 The entire forest was alive. Every tree. Every root. Every shadow. Connected. The priest looked at me with terrified eyes. It doesn't eat people. It copies them. Then what happens to the real ones? I asked. He slowly pointed toward the roots. I aimed my flashlight downward. At first, I thought they were tree roots tangled together. Then one of them moved. It wasn't a root. It was a human arm. Another. Another. Hundreds of people were trapped inside the tree itself. Their bodies fused into the wood. Some were still alive. Barely breathing. Their eyes silently begged for help. Then, I saw him. Daniel. Half of his body had disappeared into the tree. His eyes opened. Ryan. His voice was weak. So, you came. I rushed toward him. The priest grabbed my backpack. No. If you touch the roots, it will take you too. But Daniel reached out his trembling hand. Please. Don't leave me here. I froze. Every instinct told me to save him. Then I noticed something. Daniel's shadow was moving. Even though he wasn't. The shadow slowly stood up on its own. It stepped away from the tree. And smiled. I knew you'd come, it said. The real Daniel screamed. Run. Before I could react, the shadow lunged toward me. The ground exploded beneath my feet. Black roots shot out of the earth like giant snakes, wrapping around my legs. I fell hard. The flashlight rolled away into the darkness. The heartbeat beneath the forest grew louder. Boom. 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 The giant oak tree split open down the middle. Inside, something enormous began to emerge. It wasn't human. It wasn't an animal. It was a towering creature made entirely of twisted branches, bones, and thousands of human faces. Every missing person. Every victim. Every stolen identity was part of its body. Thousands of mouths opened together. And they all whispered the same sentence. Now, it's your turn. The forest that swallowed people. The forest never lets you leave. The creature towered above the trees. At least 50 feet tall. Its body twisted like living wood, but thousands of human faces pushed through its bark. Some were crying. Some were screaming. Some were silently begging for help. One face belonged to Daniel. Another looked exactly like me. The giant opened every mouth at once. The sound wasn't a roar. It was thousands of people whispering together. Become one of us. Black roots burst from the ground and wrapped around my legs. I couldn't move. The harder I struggled, the tighter they squeezed. The old priest raised a rusted iron cross and shouted something in a language I didn't recognize. For one brief second, the roots loosened. Run, Ryan, he screamed. I grabbed my backpack and sprinted toward Daniel. He was still trapped inside the massive tree. Hold on. Teams arrived an hour later. They found dozens of survivors wandering the highway. But they never found the old priest. When I told the police about the monster, the village, and the giant tree, they assumed I was suffering from trauma. 6 months later, Daniel and I tried to move on with our lives. Neither of us ever spoke about Ravenwood again. Until one rainy evening, a package arrived at my apartment. There was no return address. Inside was my video camera. The same one I had lost in the forest. Its battery was fully charged. There was a video on it. One I had never recorded. With shaking hands, I pressed play. The camera showed me sleeping in my bedroom. Someone had been standing beside my bed, filming me all night. The figure slowly turned toward the camera. It smiled. It had my face. Then the screen went black. One final sentence appeared. "You never escaped." The end.